In the quiet town of Maple Valley, a place where people didn't lock their doors, neighbors waved and kids rode bikes until dusk. Something happened that would unravel the peace forever. 4 teenage girls vanished, together, on an ordinary fall afternoon. What started as a presumed random act of violence would soon expose the dark underbelly of a town that thought it knew everyone. It was October 14th, 2018. The leaves had just begun to turn in Maple Valley, a small rural town in Oregon with a population just under 9,000. For 15-year-old girls, Emily Carson, Leah Brooks, Maya Sinclair, and Tessa Hall left school together as they always did. They were inseparable. That afternoon, they planned to walk the wooded shortcut behind the school, a trail they'd taken dozens of times, before heading to Emily's house for a sleepover. But they never arrived. By 6:30 p.m., worried parents started calling. Phones went straight to voicemail. By 8 p.m., police were called. By midnight, a full-scale search had begun. The girls were well known in the community. Honor roll students, soccer teammates, smart, kind, and full of life. Emily loved photography. Leah had just started writing poetry. Maya was the loud one with a laugh that turned heads. Tessa was shy but fiercely protective of her friends. As days passed with no sign of the girls, panic set in. Helicopters flew overhead. Search dogs scoured the woods. Volunteers combed every inch of Maple Valley's surrounding terrain. Local news outlets dubbed them the Maple Valley Four. Candlelight vigils lit up the town square. Social media exploded with theories. A serial kidnapper, a trafficking ring, even the idea that the girls had run away. But at that point, the investigation leaned toward the possibility of a random abduction or human trafficking. No one had seen anything unusual. There were no signs of a struggle. It was as if the girls had simply vanished into thin air. Then came a tip. A woman who lived near the woods reported hearing what she described as a scream cut short the afternoon the girls disappeared. The sound came from the direction of an old, ivy-covered house at the edge of the forest, home to Walter Griggs, a 57-year-old widower and retired carpenter. Griggs had lived in Maple Valley his whole life, kept to himself, never remarried after his wife died in 2006. To most, he was just the lonely guy who mowed his lawn too early on Sundays. But when police knocked, Walter was calm, almost too calm. He claimed he hadn't left the house all day and offered them coffee. Still, officers noticed something, a faint scent of bleach in the air. With growing suspicion, police obtained a search warrant. That warrant led to a shocking discovery. Behind a false wall in the basement was a small, soundproofed room. Inside, for sleeping bags, snack wrappers, water bottles, and, most disturbingly, for charm bracelets, each engraved with the names Emily, Leah, Maya, and Tessa. But the girls weren't there. The horror deepened when detectives uncovered trail cameras Walter had hidden in the woods, dozens of recordings tracking the girls' movements for months. In a locked drawer, they found VHS tapes labeled by date, containing footage of the girls walking home, laughing, completely unaware they were being watched. Walter had been tracking the girls' routines for nearly 6 months, but still no bodies, no physical evidence of violence, nothing that could prove he had taken them, yet Walter Griggs was arrested but refused to speak. No confession, no motive, and still no girls. Then, on day 9, everything changed. A man driving down a rural road 15 miles outside of town spotted a girl staggering along the roadside. It was Leah Brooks, disoriented, barefoot, and dehydrated. Leah said Walter had lured them into his home by faking an emergency, claiming his dog was missing and asking for help. Once inside, the girls were drugged and locked in the hidden room. But after 3 days, when Walter left the door improperly latched, they made a plan. Leah slipped out during the night to find help. The others stayed behind to avoid detection, fearing they'd be punished or moved. Leah led authorities back. Miraculously, all 4 were rescued alive. Walter Griggs was charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, child endangerment, and intent to cause harm. He never offered a motive. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. To this day, he has never spoken about why he did it. Maple Valley never looked the same again. Parents watched their children a little closer. Neighbors looked a little longer at the quiet houses on the edge of town. Because even in the smallest towns, the most ordinary people can hold the darkest secrets. And yet, a question still lingers in the minds of many. How long had Walter Griggs been planning this? And could it have been prevented? If you believe stories like these should never be forgotten, subscribe to The Silent Witness, because every case deserves to be heard, even when the witness can no longer speak.